Hello and welcome to part 1 of Midnight, the Stars and You, the Allick Bowlly story. Part 1, the early years. The blast from a landmine which exploded in London's West End on April 17, 1941, silenced the velvet voice of a swarthy and romantic singing guitarist who is still faithfully remembered by his legion of fans of all ages all over the world 60 years after his tragic death. A robust, chunky, fastidious little man, 5'7" and 11 stone 2, Al was an extremely athletic, keep-fit fanatic, lithe and muscular. He was warm-hearted, generous, extravagant, gentle and sensitive, although he was somewhat temperamental and was quick-tempered. Al was a sports lover, a compulsive gambler who would stake his last shilling on a horse, and most certainly he was a ladies' man with a sharp eye and a flattering word for the opposite sex, who were mesmerised by his good looks and charm. He was a gifted, dedicated performer, yet he was reticently modest about his undeniable talent. He was equally impressive singing an evergreen as he was a modern ballad, and he could swing when needed and tackle comedy material, country and western and blues. He was indeed the complete vocalist.
Midnight were the stars and you, midnight and a rendezvous. Your eyes held a message tender, saying I surrender all my love to you. Midnight brought us sweet romance. I know all my whole life through I'll be remembering you, whatever else I do. Midnight, where the stars and you.
The tune Do Re Mi says to start at the very beginning, a very good place to start, and indeed it is. Allick Bowlly was born on January the 7th, 1899 at Lourenço Marques, Portuguese East Africa, now called Maputo, in Mozambique. There seems to be some controversy over the birth date, with the years 1898 and 1900 being variously reported. However, most scholars of Al seem to have settled on 1899. His father was Greek and mother Lebanese, and they met on a ship bound for Australia. His parents married in Adelaide, South Australia, and soon after sailed for Africa. Albert Allick Bowlly, the fourth of their 10 children, was born shortly after the family arrived in Maputo. When Al was a year old, the family moved and settled in Johannesburg. Al sang in the church choir, and as he grew up, he became keen on running, swimming, horse riding, and marksmanship. He taught himself to play banjo and guitar, and worked as an apprentice in his brother-in-law's barber shop, eventually owning his own salon, where he serenaded his customers. He was dubbed the Singing Barber. When West African bandleader Edgar Adeler passed through the town in 1923 on a world tour with his syncopators, he signed Al initially to play guitar, but eventually to sing. The band visited Mombasa, South Africa, India, Singapore and Java, where Al fell out with some of the other musicians over a joke they played on him, and he quit. It was at one time thought that he may have recorded with Adeler during that time, but no records have ever been traced. Al got a job with a local band in Surabaya, Java, and in due course became the leader, achieving much popularity and earning excellent money, which led to an offer to appear as a soloist at the Grand Hotel in Calcutta. But his gambling and his hot temper got him into trouble, and he was sacked. So he became a jockey, and when American trumpet leader Jimmy Messene went into the Grand with his band, Al asked for a job, and turned up in his full riding kit for the audition. Al played guitar with Messene. Here is some of that music from those days.
I synced it to the girl I met the other evening down in Soho. Are you the little girl that spoke to me? Told me all the troubles of your family. I gave you 2 and 6 'cause you were in a fix and had nowhere to go. I synced it to the girl I met the other evening down in Soho.
Very early Allick Bowlly on guitar with Jimmy Messene. A little bit more now. The House with the Shutters Are Green and Soho Blues, 2 very early Jimmy Messene recordings with Al on guitar. Although he didn't sing on that, he was booked to sing with the band, which went from the Grand to the equally famous Raffles Hotel in Singapore in December 1926. But the engagement was brief and the band broke up early in 1927. Al became friendly with the pianist in the band, Moni Alita, who advised him to go to Germany, where he might find opportunities for his singing. Al went off to Germany and at first worked for the violinist leader Robert Garden at the Regina Palace Hotel in Munich. Afterwards, joining Arthur Briggs, with whose Savoy syncopators he certainly did record. His first titles, most appropriately, Song of the Wanderer and Hallelujah, recorded for Polydor in July 1927.
When you just haunt me all day, where can I find what I found when I first met you? You were unkind, but I simply can't forget you. Where shall I go when I go where I go? Seems to have sent me away.
In 1927 with Arthur Briggs' Savoy Syncopators and the Song of the Wanderer. Al did some solo recordings for home accord, starting with Blue Skies. While in Germany, he also sang for George Carhart's New Yorkers, Fred Bird's Salon Syncopators, and the John Abriani Six. For a while, Al sang in Paris, and whilst he was there, he met someone who knew Spanish-American bandleader Fred Elizalde. He needed a singer-guitarist for his band at London's Savoy Hotel.
Smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but bluebirds all day long. Never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right. Noticing the days hurrying by, when you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. I was blue, just as blue as I could be. Every day was a cloudy day for me. Till good luck came a-knocking at my door. Skies were gray, but they're not gray anymore.
Al sent Elizalde a copy of his recording of Muddy Water with Edgar Adeler's band and was booked on the strength of it at £14 a week. Elizalde sent him a £20 advance, but he blew it all on a party to celebrate his good luck and on a horse that lost. He then had to borrow money to make the trip to London. Al joined Fred Elizalde in July of 1928 and started recording with the band on Just Imagine and Wherever You Are on July 25th.
imagine that you love me dearly. Oh, please just imagine that I'm here sincerely. I'm pretending that he's sending love notes ending I love you. Seems that he's there as the day is closing. On his knees there I am proposing. He's not present, still it's pleasant. Just imagine that it's true.
Elizalde left the Savoy in August of 1928 to play in Paris and Ostend, and returned in October. The band played at the London Palladium in April 1929 for 3 weeks, with El getting a great response, although on his broadcasts he somehow didn't sound as good as he really was, due to technical difficulties in those early days of radio. Elizalde fell out with the management of the Savoy in the summer of 1929 and left the hotel, which was a big blow for El, who found it hard to get work, although he did do a short spell with a group called the Blue Boys, consisting of Edgar Adeler, who had by then arrived in London, El Starita and Len Phyllis. El became so desperate when the Blue Boys disbanded that he began busking in the streets for cinema and theatre cues, accompanying himself on a guitar. The story goes that Bill Harty, drummer with Lou Stone and Ray Noble, heard him busking and introduced him to Ray, but this has been disputed by those who say Bill was introduced to El by a mutual friend. Whatever the truth, he began singing for Ray Noble on his HMV House records with the new Mayfair Orchestra, starting with I'm Telling the World She's Mine and How Could I Be Lonely on November the 20th, 1930. It should, however, be noted that 4 months earlier Al recorded 5 sides with a small studio band directed by Noble. 4 were in his native Afrikaans.
How she laughs and how she sighs, how she pouts and rolls her eyes, till they seem to reach the skies. I'm telling the world she's mine. How she plays and how she sings, how she stays and how she clings, and all those other things. Why, I'm telling the world she's mine. 'Cause she's got the cutest little dimple. She's wise, but she always seems so simple. How she pets and ain't it nice when she forgets Mama's advice. How she loves me, ain't it fine, when she kisses just divine. All the birdies sing in rhyme. Why, I'm telling the world she's mine. How could I be lonely with a friend like you? For you're driving all my cares away. Never knew the sun shine for anyone just the way it seems to shine today. With your arms around me, I feel safe from every storm. Seems this world is only built for two. I just need you only. How could I be lonely, lonely with a little friend like you? I said, oh, lonely with a little friend like you. all my cares away. Never knew the sun shine for anyone just the way it seems to shine today. With your arms around me, I feel safe from every storm. Seems this world is only built for two. I just need you only. How could I be lonely? Lonely with a friend like you. I said, oh, lonely with a little friend like you.
From November of 1930, Al's first recording with Ray Noble and the New Mayfair Orchestra. We continue the Al Bowlly story next week in part 2 of Midnight, the Stars and You.